Welcome back, dear viewers. You're still watching Nile Cruise on Nile TV International. In this very important segment, we bring you Egyptian Arabesque, which is the jewel of Islamic art at a risk of evanescence. Egyptian Arabesque, jewel of arts, as was dubbed by the scholar of geometric arts and traditional craftsman to describe those ornaments which adorned all windows and doors in Egypt's sites and towns, even lanes and alleys in slums where Mashabees, gates and even sitting rooms were adorned by those artistic decorations that became famous in the old times. There are no appropriate literatures about Arabesque, nor have its craftsmen leaked some of its secrets to future generations. And in this context, dear viewers, we have with us a very special guest. Our guest today is the prominent guest, Mohamed Deeb, head of the Dr. Mohamed Deeb, the head of the Egyptian Association and chairman of the Arabesque and Mashabee arts, to tell us more about this art. And it's worth to mention that Dr. Mohamed Deeb is not only a doctor in being the head of the association and the chairman of Arabesque and Mashabee, but he is also a doctor on the personal level. A very good day, sir.
Welcome.
And it's a pleasure to have you with us in today's episode of Nile Cruise.
Sir,
when and why the art of Arabesque arose?
Yes, it was starting in since year 2015.
2015, you mean?
Yes, 2015.
This was when it was the peak of Arabesque art in Egypt, or it was before, or it started
actually
in 2015?
It is the first society which it is have an multi-activities and goal. The main goal of this society is increase awareness and giving the big scale for our keeping our Egyptian heritage among the Mashabee and Arabesque. So I wanted to give two important things: what's meant by the Mashabee and what's meant by the Arabesque. Mashabee, you know, of course, the name of Mashabee came from Mashafe. Mashafe, it is mean that the small protrusion outside the wall, which it is can give the more inside air and light and more conditions, and it is give privacy.
Privacy?
Yes, to inside the outside you cannot see, and the people inside can see.
Can see, yes.
And the maximum time it was actually in Osmani period, and there is another two names. It is called in Iraq Shanashil, and in Saudi Arabia it is Russian. The most important thing which I tell you that Cairo is full of Mashabee, which is present in the old palaces and all streets in Shara al-Mu'izz Dinillah, and not only presence in the Islamic architecture, but also it is present in Coptic architecture, which it is give our sites that this nice building, which it is present in our heritage, more extend for our personality and our background in Egypt.
Okay, I want to ask you a question here, sir, that I thought of asking. Mashabee, when we say Mashabee, is Egypt the first country that started and had the Mashabee, or are there other countries with Islamic culture that have the Mashabee?
Oh, actually, during the time of Osmani, which it is Abbessie, it has a maximum of Mashabee. You know that it is present in the one of the Islamic architectures in all the Islamic civilization. So it is, I told you just now, it is presence in the Iraq, Saudi Arabia, in Yemen, and in Turkish and Iran. They are using the technical leper for in palaces and the building of the palaces, they are using the skill of Egyptian labor to build this type of mashrabiyah. It's not only present on the east, it is present also in west,
West.
in Maghreb, in Spanish and Morocco.
Okay, sir. Sir, how is the Arabesque linked to the Islamic world?
It has a very good link because you know that it is wood itself. It has an special decoration and the repetition presence of the come with the Islamic architecture because there is wahdat. Wahdat means that it is a symbol beside symbol beside symbol beside symbol. All of this link, it is come with the Islamic architecture and decoration.
Okay, sir, why is it known as the jewel of arts?
What?
Why is it known as the jewel of arts?
A jewel of the art because it is, I told you, the function of this mashrabiyah, but it is a skill of the handicraft of wood itself. Huh? It is need an special instruments which they can give the small cylinder, the small communication between the pieces of wood, which it is can amalgamate with each other to give the very nice shape of this mashrabiyah. So it has a characteristic of handcraft, Egyptian handcraft, and it is extended, of course, in Islamic civilization of that.
What are the frequent shapes of arabesque artists use?
What?
What are the frequent shapes that the arabesque artists use, sir?
You know that Arabesque, it has come from the word Arab.
Of course.
And they said that it is the second item of this word, it is French or Turkish, which it is mean that it is leaves, which is present in the leaves of the gardens. And they are taking this, putting in the decorations. And it is very characteristic of Kelmet Arabesque. Arabesque, it is mean that it is a decoration and Islamic decoration which can use the leaves in sort of abstract. And they are making beside each other. It is present, of course, in mosques, in palaces, in inside the old houses. And it's not only of that, it is present also in Coptic churches. School, schools.
Sir, how was the art developed during the Abbessie historical period?
Yes, I told you that it is a time of Al-Abbasi and Al-Osmani. It is the maximum in Abbasi time. And in this time, as I told you, that the Egyptian leper, they are very skilled in using of this Arabic amalgamation of wood and they put in each other. And this time they are using the Egyptian leper in building of palaces and inside the palaces. And it's not only inside the Egypt, they are using them in Iran, Turkish, Iraq, in Spain.
Okay, sir, what's the difference between Mashabee and Mashafe?
Yes, it is very good question. And the mashrabiyah, you know that the mashrabiyah, it is come also another meaning from mashrabiyah. Mashrabiyah, it is, you know that olla, it is the small containers which it can put outside the windows. And it is come from mashrab. It is come from mashrabiyah. This is another origin for our meaning of mashrabiyah.
You mean, sir, okay, what's Mashafe?
Huh?
What's the Mashafe?
I told you that it's mashrabiyat because it is
So
put
they're
the
the
water
same.
inside the
So they're
container.
the same but
we
different.
can drink the drink olla.
Okay, so Mashabee and Mashafe are the same but they are different
Yes,
vocabulary.
but it has a different extension of the meaning.
Different extension of the meaning.
Yes.
Would you shed more light about what is historical about the capture of artists? the capture of artists in the idea and the context of Mashabee and Arabesque and Islamic.
Yes, you know that it is one of the very attractive in Mashrabiyya, whether this is in wooden architecture, which is present not only in the windows, it is present also in the partitions, and the partitions inside the Islamic houses and all the houses and palaces. The technical of the handcraft Egyptian wood, which it is present amalgamation with each other. Number one, number two, it is the repetition of the symbol, whether this it is a symbol, it is leaves, or it is a symbol of small rods of wood, which it is can give a very attractive light.
So how is the Egyptian Arabesque conveyed from Egypt to other countries?
Yes, of course it is. I told you that it is Arabesque. It is a very wide spread at the time of Osmani and the Abbessie, and they are using inside the mosques and palaces and all the houses. They are, as I told you, just from 5 minutes from now, it is about the decoration, or Islamic decoration, and characteristic of Islamic decoration of using the leaves and the flowers, and the repetition of these beside each other, and it is give not only in the ceramic and the walls of the building and the walls of the mosques, the walls also of the palaces, and the walls of the old houses.
Okay, sir, why the Egyptian artisans are the most skilled despite the prevalence of Arabesque in art, the art of Arabesque across the Arab and European countries? Why is it prevailing always in Egypt?
You know, of course, the Quran and the Sunnah and our Quran, it has a tawheed. A tawheed means that you are making a repetition for a limitless of word Allah, and we are giving for our spirit on the Quran and Sunnah. And that's why you find that a limitless of repetition of the symbol of flowers and leaves, which is not only in the walls of the palaces and the walls of the buildings in Islamic area. Not only of that, it is present also in the containers. It is present on the Islamic lamp. It is present on the windows, historical windows. It's present also in the historical doors. So it is one of the very characteristic items and symbol and unit in Islamic architecture in our art, Islamic art.
Can we consider this art as an important factor to for the attraction of tourism and across Egypt, here in Egypt?
Of course, it is the very attraction, and I told you since 2 days or 3 days, there is a big conferences which it is under the umbrella of Dr. Ines Abdeldayem, the Minister of Culture, in the big center of the books. It is make at the first conference about the historical Cairo, the situation now and the future. So it is, I have literature and I have research. It is already accepted about that we are preserving the Mashrabiyya inside the historical Cairo, and how we can preserve this and how we can learn this for our generation, students and all over, whether the schools or the universities.
Okay, sir. Technology is a double-edged sword, of course, as we all know. Although it contributed in making the Mashabee art more attractive, and the machines put the Egyptian art of Arabesque at stake of ever since. Your comments, sir?
Of course, you are raising a very important point about the technology and the modern technology. They are using this in many things. The first about the graphic design, and how about the modification or flowers and the communication with each other. So we are using the photographic for putting the designs, whether that is in ceramic or walls in the new buildings. First, second, about the wood, which you are making amalgamation with the small pieces of wood. We are using a special machine, electric machine, which they can cut the wood in the form of the Islamic
Architecture.
yes, architecture. Not only of that, you know that wood, it is an expensive because it is using a special type of the sonobor. They are using now in the wood of the trees, which is more is cheaper. More modern, they are using aluminum and metal. And this is already used in the new valleys or the new villages in Egypt, in Sharm el-Sheikh and Gardaqa and all of that, in the faces of the tourist accommodation.
Sir, what are the challenges that played a role in the elimination of this handicraft?
Yes, there is a very important point about the challenging of how I can spread, especially this Arabesque and the Mashabee, especially you know that it's present now in modern centers and in modern architectures, which are using in the tourist villages and especially commercial centers, not only in Egypt. It's present in Dubai, Emirat, in new places, even Europe now. They are making this in a special district in Roma and Spain. The handcraft, if you are using, which I told you, it take much time. That's why you said that modernization, which it is using different metal and different technique, it is give spread, but of course it is not reach to the primary, which it is has using the handcraft, which it is a very important, which it is you are giving a special types of point that we must keep our heritage and keeping our registration of Mashabee inside the historical Cairo, not only in historical Cairo, and also in all over Egypt. So registration is very important because however the modernization of Mashabee, it will not reach to the special attractive and special view in our hearts for the beginning architecture and decoration.
Okay, finally, sir, how to preserve this art, which is very important, I think, from your own perspective and for Egypt and for our country. And what is the role of your association that it plays in this regard?
Of course, there are very important points that we are enriching. This is for our students, for young people in schools and in the universities. We have many channels, especially in the workshops. We are training them how they are using the cutting of the small pieces of the wood through the special machines, and how they can amalgamate all of these small wood in the special Mashabee. This is first. Second, we are enriching the drama in television, and you know that مسلسل Arabesque, which it is a very, very attractive.
The series
and the
Arabesque.
background, yes, this is
The
a very
series
important.
Arabesque.
Yes, this is number two. Number three, we are helping the people in the secondary school and universities in applied art and all of that to train how we are using these special types of wood and how they are cut, how much they are special, very nice and very cut, and through the giving them one-day trip inside the Cairo, Shara al-Mu'izz, and all of this inside the museum.
Hence, sir, you are working on enhancing the Arabesque in your association in Egypt. So it's not going to be eliminated, and it's always going to be our characteristic as Egyptians.
Yes, this is our school, I told you, in our society, that not only for training, not only reviewing, not only through the conferences, also they are encouraging the students inside the schools and inside the university through the small trips to visit the old palaces and all the houses
To learn
see,
more,
to see, and also through the workshops, which it is give them push to have Egyptian identity, and how much they will give them spirit in the creative art in the future.
Our prominent guest, Dr. Mohamed Deeb, head of the Egyptian Association and chairman of the Arabesque and Mashabee Arts. Thank you so much for joining us in this segment of Nile Cruise. Thank you very much for your informative knowledge. We always are happy to have you with us as a guest, sir.
Welcome. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Dear viewers, stay tuned here on Nile Cruise. We'll be back again. Don't go away. We'll be back again.